questions. We're going to revisit a conversation that we began yesterday. RealFi, how do we bridge the gap? RealFi combines DeFi, identity, metadata, and governance to unlock what can only be described as truly new financial markets. The result is closing the gap between crypto, blockchain, and global utility. And we're going to have a warts and all deep conversation in this session to explore RealFi first off as a concept, so we truly understand exactly what it is, and delve into some of the real pressing questions that are happening outside the room and online today. We'll explore some of the problems and blockers that keep coming up as we start to think about the future. We'll also ask, does Cardano have a RealFi advantage? And if so, how do we as a community actually leverage it? Well, we've got an amazing panel to join us here to talk about it. We are going to be joined by Vedran Vukman from Revuto, Florian Sorg from Newm, Jonas Lindgren from Charlie 3, Glen from EMPOWA, and it will be brilliantly and expertly moderated by Peter van Garderen from Landano Orcfax. Let's hear it for the panelists.
Hello, hello, everyone.
Hello.
Hello. Welcome to the RealFi panel. My name is Peter van Garderen. I'm the newly elected chairperson of the Cardano RealFi Consortium. We formed ourselves collectively this weekend. We identify ourselves as projects that connect real-world assets and processes to the Cardano blockchain, with or without DeFi, with or without social impact. The key criteria being that there are something in the real world, and we are connecting it to either tokenizing it or representing it on the Cardano blockchain. Myself, I'm the founder of the Landano project, co-founder with Doris Vandercroft. We are tokenizing land rights in Mozambique and Ghana as Cardano NFTs. And I'm also the founder of a Cardano native Oracle project called Orcfax. I've been a Bitcoin holder since 2012. So I've been around this industry for a while now. I was initially attracted to the idea of having a decentralized currency act as a hedge against my retirement funds after the 2008 crash, and then slowly learned more and more about the technology. I think it was the first time I heard Andreas Antonopoulos speak about, we've got this thing called Bitcoin, but there's something underneath it called blockchain. It's this powerful, revolutionary technology. And ever since then, I've been just fascinated with the potential for this technology because I identify myself as a libertarian, maybe a bit of an anarchist in the pure theoretical definition of that term. And as a parent of 3 teenagers, I worry about their future of humanity, their future. And I believe that a lot of the ills in the world currently are due to centralization of power in governance, finance, industry, et cetera. And I believe decentralization and blockchain technology are an alternate path for humanity that could correct many things and hopefully give us a brighter future. So I've always been drawn to the idea of using blockchain in the real world as a RealFi solution. And I believe that, given the new crypto winter that we are in and all the problems we're currently seeing in our industry, I believe RealFi is going to be the driver that moves us forward past this darker period. So that's a little bit about me. We've got an excellent panel to talk about this topic. To the left of me, we have Vex from the Revuto project. We have Florian from the Newm project. We have Jonas from Charlie 3. And we have Glen from EMPOWA. So I'd like to ask each to introduce themselves a little bit and talk about how your particular project connects real-world assets and processes to the Cardano blockchain.
Awesome. Thank you. So, my name is Vedran. People call me Vex. So I'm CEO and the founder of Revuto. We're basically working on a real-world case business model and connecting people with crypto, specifically on subscriptions and subscription payments. So I believe that everybody is aware that the subscription business model is growing 100% year over year. It's a big problem for people because people are losing a lot of money on their subscriptions, and we are in a way helping them to leverage crypto and DeFi setups with subscription payments to allow them to save money, to pay less. That's basically it. I just want to add also that I strongly believe that RealFi is the right way to actually bring crypto to the masses. We have a really appealing business case, which we are actually from the real world, which we are actually connecting with the Web3. Yeah,
Thanks, Vex. Florian, tell us a little bit more about Newm.
Hello, Cardano community. I'm Florian Sorg, and I'm the co-founder and co-CEO of Newm. What we are doing, we want to build a music ecosystem in Cardano, and by fractionalizing music IP rights and sell these directly to the fans, which enables the artist to incentivize their fans to listen to their music. In the end, we create listen to earn, kind of in a way of this. But the way to do this is by creating the whole ecosystem, which means we taking care of music distribution for the artist by fractionalizing the music IP rights, and also enables them through our marketplace to sell it directly to their fans, which gives them a new opportunity to stay independent, but have all the benefits from a label by connecting them with the fans. This is what we are doing, and if you're interested, go to our website. There is much more in the roadmap for the future.
Thanks, Florian. Jonas, tell us more about Charlie 3.
Yeah, so my name is Jonas. I'm the CTO of Charlie 3. We're a Cardano Oracle, so basically for those who are unfamiliar with oracles, that means we take real-life data and we move it onto the blockchain in a trusted way. It might seem like a simple thing, but in reality it's actually quite complicated. Doing it in a secure and reliable way is not too easy. And I feel like this is something that is kind of a crucial building stone for RealFi applications, no matter what. Most of them do involve some kind of real-life interaction, and providing those kind of building tools for all of these other projects to really do what they want to do without having to reinvent the wheel constantly, I think is our biggest contribution that we can make to RealFi. And I think, well, being an Oracle, obviously I'm a big believer in RealFi. I think that's what's going to take the blockchain technology just from a niche thing for us nerds to something that is useful for people in everyday life. So, yeah.
Thanks, Jonas. And Glen, let's hear more about EMPOWA.
Yeah, excuse me. My name is Glen Jordan, co-founder of EMPOWA. And EMPOWA is a platform that is seeking to enable affordable funding for affordable housing in Africa. There's a backlog of 50 million homes in Africa, and the assumption is that that's due to poverty, and it's not. It's actually due to the financial systems that are just absolutely not fit for purpose in an informal environment. So our whole objective is with understanding of that market, understanding of the environment, understanding of the informality of income, being able to provide funding and finance in a practical and sustainable manner for climate-smart housing particularly, in a way that serves both the needs of the consumer and the needs of the investor in order for us to address that backlog from a humanitarian perspective.
Amazing. Okay, we're all Cardano builders. We've all chosen to build on Cardano. Florian, is there a particular reason you've chosen Cardano for your RealFi project?
Yeah, if you're dealing with IP rights in the broader overview, you want stability. And we know some other chains in the blockchain ecosystem which went down often. And additionally, if you want to become mass adoption and have a lot of fans out there, they might want to buy these music rights, you need also a model which enables you to predict your fees, because I have to run a business, and a business means I have to know what my expenses are, and if Ethereum's gas fees are going through the roof, I don't have a viable business model. These are more the business sides and also kind of technology side, but also on the other hand, how we are doing it with we are fractionalizing music NFT rights, or the NFT, we are fractionalizing into fungible tokens. And Cardano is in this way also very unique, that fungible tokens and non-fungible tokens act kind of the same, which makes it also easier for us to build on it. Just practical reasons.
Very practical reasons. Glen, is there anything in particular about Cardano that made EMPOWA choose Cardano for your solution?
Yeah, there were 3 reasons really that we chose it. The first was the environmental aspect, proof of stake. That was very important. Obviously, we can't be advocating environmental concerns without that. Academic rigor was hugely important. The same reason, we're a financial platform. We have to have that kind of rigor. We really like the academic rigor of that, and the not build fast and break things. It's the absolute reverse. So that was very important to us. And the third thing that has been very, very useful to us is the African community focus, the understanding of the community that, for us to go into areas where there aren't existing systems, to create new systems, to create challenges with a sense of that whole African focus. A lot of the time Africa just actually is, last on the list. So it was really nice to have a community where people were saying, actually, we see this as a business imperative and a great community, and that's been very supportive for us.
Excellent. During the 2 meetings we had this weekend with the RealFi Consortium, we talked a lot about what's the scope of RealFi, what makes it different than, say, regular DeFi, and are there unique challenges that we experience as a group of RealFi builders, and we all agree that we did. I'm curious to hear from Vex, in particular, as a RealFi builder, do you think there's challenges specific to dealing with connections in the real world as a RealFi project that might be different from a standard DeFi project, let's say a DEX, or do you think it's fairly similar issues?
Oh, well, yeah, we have different problems that we need to tackle, especially regarding the trust. So we are connected Web3 with the real world. So there is no point of running the trustless business when it comes to us. So, and I still believe that the trust is really important part of the business. Maybe tech-wise is not, but business-wise it is. So yeah, so also off-ramping and on-ramping crypto, it's a big thing, huge issue for us, and we still, compared maybe to other DeFi projects, we need to be regulated in a way. So Revuto is highly regulated business. We are holding the EMI, electronic money institution license, to be able to issue virtual debit cards, which people can use actually to off-ramp crypto when paying for their subscriptions. So it's quite, tough business to be in, especially with the crypto and the regulators. So those are, I think, the main points, at least regarding our business. Right. Yeah. So which are quite different.
Right. And let's talk about an Oracle for a second. Oracle explicitly is a primitive that takes real-world information to put it on chain, right? So, in the case of Charlie 3, do you think what are some unique challenges to an Oracle project that might be different from, say, a DEX project?
Oh, I think there are several. I think the biggest one right now that we are really focusing in Charlie 3 is the concept of standardization. I think that if we can provide some kind of standardized protocol, essentially, for interacting with oracles that projects can use, that can provide kind of a building block that projects can really bootstrap off of. They can take this particular component and just put it into their project and build their model around it without having to worry too much about that particular component. I think that's the one big contribution that we can make, and we're really focusing hard on that, and I hope it can really be helpful for everyone. Another thing that I'm thinking about right now also, hearing everyone else, it might behoove us as an Oracle to kind of look at the other end of the interaction as well. We are currently focusing on getting data from the real world to the blockchain. We might also want to investigate the ability of providing a standardized way of going the other way, taking data from the blockchain and kind of triggering events in real life. But that's more of a wild idea coming to me right now. Sorry.
Yeah, it's a good idea, and I have also one special thing about RealFi I would love to add here, because we always say blockchain immutability, we can't go reverse. But to be honest, if someone acts as a fragile individual, and it happens that there is fraud also in land and housing or music, is very interesting for this. How do you reverse it? And in our normal system, in our real world, we have the legal system who who helps everyone to reverse also these things. But if you have suddenly fractionalizing music IP rights, for example, and I know only my field better than all the others here, and then you have co-owning of 10,000 people. How do coordinate 10,000 people to reverse the minting of this NFT, that we can reverse everything because there was fraud included? And this is a topic no one is talking about, but we are humans, and this is happening also in the real world. And so I'm really happy that getting the right data is the key for RealFi. This is what I believe. But this is sometimes tricky.
Yeah, no.
Absolutely. Glen, as a RealFi project, what do you think is like one unique obstacle that you're facing in your project in particular that you wouldn't if you're a purely online, on-chain kind of project?
Yeah, as one of my team members said, there's no test net in RealFi. And that really illustrates it, because it's really around, as we've all been discussing, it's the business processes, their interactions, and really validating that in order to ensure that whatever is happening is the use case of what we're seeking to achieve, which is obviously the validation, the timeousness of the information that is correct. So that part is challenging, there's no doubt about it.
Right. So there's lots of challenges in RealFi, and we've been talking about those offline amongst this group as well, and certainly within the consortium, and that's why we feel it's very important that we share resources and knowledge as much as possible. I do believe personally that RealFi, I said this a little earlier, is going to be the driver for mass adoption for crypto. Once we get, again, a lot of negative press right now about crypto, a lot of, again, bad impressions. But if anything is going to lead us out of this, I truly believe that RealFi, real-world utility, real-world use cases is going to drive mass adoption of crypto beyond where the very still early stages we see it now. Would you agree, Vex?
Yeah, I totally agree. And I'm always discussing it with the DeFi people. Yeah, because they're more concerned about the technology and what they are building, but in the end we are building businesses here, and I don't think that we necessarily need to reinvent all the businesses. The blockchain should just be underlying technology to maybe make a better business out of it and offer better products, superior products. In our case, we have a really appealing business model that people can easily correlate with. We have now up to almost 360,000 registered users. We are solving the problem with them, but still we are in a way inviting them to the world of crypto. So we build a product for average Joe, not necessarily for very tech-savvy, blockchain-oriented people, which most of the hardcore blockchain developers are doing. They're building products for themselves. I think that we should do other way around. And with those simple features, simple products that they can understand, they can start using crypto to understand not just crypto, but even then DeFi setups, micro lending and borrowing, staking. How can they take advantage of that, make their money work for them, get liquidity or provide liquidity to others. So those are really simple things that we can actually integrate with real-world business cases.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. So, within the consortium already, we have projects that are doing things, tokenizing books. In our case, land rights, education, and in Florian's case, music. So, if we're thinking about mass adoption, I don't think there's anybody in this room that doesn't like music or listens to music, right? So, I think there's a market of 7 billion people sitting there. Yeah. How do you feel about this idea of RealFi driving mainstream crypto adoption?
It's kind of surprising for me that we are 12 years in the making of blockchain, and also in Cardano, the first thing we all hopped on of is DeFi. I think the reason for it is it's easier to build because we replicate the banking system kind of by reducing the amount of people who are working it and reducing friction and integrate a trustless system because it's the trust is embedded in the code. But it's very surprising for me that no one wants to tackle these huge markets because RealFi everything which is around us is RealFi. The house, the phones you're owning, the subscription even, and the hardware you're owning, so all the hardware, everything, and also music, it's RealFi, and the markets are huge, insanely huge. And it's not only about the market side, but it's especially about the end user and the people who want to use these products, because they want, in our case, they want to interact with their musicians. They want to support this musician. But right now, if you're not an accredited investor or a huge private equity fund or hedge fund or whatever, investing into catalogs, not possible, music catalogs. Because the reason is they don't have access to it. It's an access problem. It's not you can't invest in it, it's an access problem. Who from you guys know an artist who, where you want to buy some music rights from? And I think this is something which is really surprising, that no one is hopping on of these markets and try to make our real world better. I'm a believer in metaverse. Metaverse is coming. But we are already living in a metaverse, the real world, where we are interacting with each other. So let's bring this world first to the blockchain and reduce friction in this world, make it more equal, make it more fair, and then we have the answer. So for example, in our case, 400 million listeners on Spotify and around 2 to 5 million musicians on Spotify alone. If I capture 10% of this market, this means 40 million new users which have to create a wallet on Cardano, plus around 200,000 to 500,000 musicians who are minting NFTs on Cardano. I think it's a simple answer. Yes, let's go for it, make this happen before bring all the people from DeFi in, because not every person wants to trade. So simple as that.
I think that I also just have to add on to this that I really am excited about this particular panel and everyone on it, because I think everyone here is kind of in a way democratizing a part of the world through crypto. There's land rights, there's payment, there's music royalties, and there's housing. Whereas, you know, Charlie, we're kind of still targeting nerds, but the rest of you're targeting real life people and increasing accessibility to all of these services in a way that I think crypto really should be doing. So for me, that is the most exciting part of crypto. Of course, you can do technical stuff, and that is fun and all, but really reaching out and improving people's lives, that's, I think, is what crypto really should be doing.
Yeah, definitely. And to add this, I'm so happy that Charlie 3 is up here, because I believe no one is doing it right now, because it's just so more difficult, because it's it's a pain in the ass to deal with real world obstacles. It's legal issues. For you guys, it's the notary issues. How do you build this trust in the real world? And this is something I understand that no one wants to tackle it, but I believe tackle the very difficult problems first, because this is where the value lies. And this is also, in our case, why we are building this ecosystem, because tokenizing music IP rights is one part. But you have to ensure that everybody gets his royalties from Spotify. And we're distributing also the music to Spotify because we know there is the audience. It's not on audience. There are decentralized streaming out there. There is no audience for the musician, though you have to go the difficult route. But I think we missed you, and I would love to hear your answer to this question as well. Sorry for jumping in.
Yeah, I think for us the thing around it is you know, as techies, you always drive the tech, and the reality is that it's not ever what drives actually adoption. You know, I mean, when you think about mobile phones and the early adoptions and GSMs and, you know, all the arguments we used to have around that tech, and the reality is it's actually all around the use case again. And smartphones are not smart. You know, I mean, they're super smart, but easily usable. And it's the same. So it's driving usage for front end at people where it doesn't even matter what the tech is. It's irrelevant. That it's actually just an interface that makes it efficient, effective, cost-effective, and usable. And that drives usage. And that's what's going to drive, obviously, take up numbers, everything that we're seeking to achieve. And in my mind, agreed 100%. It's those are the applications that work. Our tenants have no idea that all of this is happening on crypto at the moment. Yep. It's completely irrelevant to them. And that's the key driver of usage.
Yeah.
100%. And you kind of touched on something else there, I think, is another challenge for all of us is usability, right? Like that's another huge blocker, obviously, for crypto in general, not just RealFi. But you know, certainly in our case, many of our users are illiterate, as an example. So how do we simplify a blockchain solution? And quite often, the answer is you abstract that away, obviously. I still want to come back to the numbers, though, because I think this is an important point I want to hammer home on this panel, is the potential for mass adoption for RealFi use cases. So in our case, in Landano, there is over 1 billion people worldwide that have legitimate claims to land, but don't have the land right records to prove it. So we're doing pilots in Mozambique, a country with 32 million people, Ghana, 30 million people, Sub-Saharan Africa is about 1 billion people, a huge market, huge potential. Our partner in Mozambique has already created helped 80,000 rural farmers create their land right records, and we're now setting up a pipeline to start minting those as Cardano NFTs. That's 80,000 new users coming to the Cardano blockchain right there. And I've heard you talk about some really interesting numbers as well, Glen, as far as your potential market. So can you give us some numbers about as far as like you're starting small, obviously, with your pilot projects, bigger things are coming. What do you think the long-term potential is for your use case and your market size?
If we dive into the market size a little bit and say,
sorry, I meant to ask for Glen.
Sorry, go for it.
Carry on.
Go on.
But
it's you first.
So so in our case, as I highlighted, that 50 million, there's a backlog of 50 million homes in Africa. That's pent-up demand for 50 million homes. Africa is also the youngest continent. It's the fastest growing continent. It's still got a population growth that most of the developed world no longer has. So it's a huge growth market for this kind of thing. The numbers, each household, in fact, and again, we're so used to single individual thinking in terms of processes, but in Africa, it's far more communal, family-oriented. So people, it's not one individual who pays, it's actually multiple and family units, etc. So the numbers are huge, in terms of significant impact, both on the ground and in terms of users that can come on board, and that's Africa. This application actually applies. It's a global application, so this is just the start.
Yeah, it's amazing. And sorry, Florian, please finish your thought.
I just a question to this, because I think it's huge. It's already huge for Africa, but I think the obstacle is suddenly again to move it to different countries because you have different regulatory systems. And this makes our RealFi panel so interesting because we have these obstacles in DeFi. You put it out there, you just don't care anymore. It's like, just use it. And for us, we have to overcome these obstacles one by one. We have to act as a normal company. You start in one legislation and then move on. And I think this is unique for us here.
Right. Go ahead, Vex, please.
I just want to add that in our business case, so we are dealing with the subscriptions, and that market is growing 100% year over year. So there is proof that in a few years, 75% of the businesses are going to offer some kind of subscription business model. So everything is going into that direction, and people are losing a lot of money on their subscription because they don't know when, how much, with what they're paying for. But more important, in our case, it's also about user experience. That's also something that I believe that should be important topic in crypto, because all those dApps are really hard to use for every Joe, and there is now that thing, custodial versus non-custodial thing. I think that that shouldn't be a topic, because in the end, all those businesses that went down now is not about, either if it's custodial or a bank or non-custodial, it's about bad business practice. Still, non-custodial, we have a non-custodial wallet, and we know what is the problem with that, because people are having difficult time creating the wallet. Although they created 61,000 Cardano wallets within our app, but still they're losing seed phrases and things like that. So we need to make those things more simple. Telling them just, make that paper wallet, or just, save or write the seed phrase and put it somewhere in a safe, it's not maybe the best way to do it. So again, we need to think about those things.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Usability, huge challenge.
Yeah,
not just for RealFi, obviously, but
it's for the mass adoption. Is everything is about user experience.
Yeah. So okay, Florian, yes,
we would love to add something, because we at Newm also thinking from the start about mass adoption and convenience for the end user, and I think you're on the right way, how to tackle it, and I think this should be the focus for the whole Cardano community. How can we create convenience for the end user? Because we created as a community such an amazing tech stack, but it should be the first priority to make it simple to use it, like the internet, simple to use it. And I think this is the biggest obstacles, and there are people, they are losing their phrases and all these things, and we have to find a way how we are able to do it with maybe build trust, or and all these kind of things are suddenly playing in place, which is, I think, which is the key for all of us in the RealFi consortium. I think, again, with this, because why I believe so much into this convenience of the end user is all our business models, besides yours,
Yep.
by the way, we have competition, and the competition is in Web 2.0. And the end user, they don't care where they'll listen their music from or using their application from, as long as simple to use.
Exactly.
Yep.
I had a thought about that just now. We all in this room, I'm sure, rely on one single device in our lives, our phone. And we trust it with a lot. We trust it with our private information. We trust it with our calls. We trust it with, for most of it, us, nearly everything in our lives. Why aren't the phone providers helping us provide a wallet? Like just a crypto wallet that can be backed up in an easy way, secure by nature of design, using actual hardware in the phone, and available for everyone. I mean, I'm sure the companies don't want to touch it for public relations reasons, just PR reasons, but that would really help a lot, I think, if that we could get to that step. How to get there, I'm not so sure. That is a difficult question, but that would be my dream scenario,
But
I think.
I think this is why we created this RealFi consortium, to have collective power to do something like this, because we all have similar problems. But I think you're the chair, you know more about it than I do.
No, but that's a good way to summarize it. 100%. Like, we're stronger together than we are alone, and we shouldn't each go off and try to solve problems individually. We can pool our effort, pool our resources. All of us are startups with limited resources, so it makes a lot of sense. But we also want the consortium to be very practical. We don't want it to. We want it to actually have immediate. Our members are not going to participate if they can't get immediate benefit from the things that we're doing. So we've got a short list of very practical things we want to work on, and that's actually a good way to segue for me to let you know that we have just registered the domain name real-fi.org. Nothing there yet. But if you go there in the next day or two, there'll be a link to our Discord server, which we've also opened up. So that'll be our online home, that website, but the Discord server is open as public, and this is where we're continuing these discussions. So if you are a RealFi project, or if you are a Cardano community member that's passionate about RealFi, please come join our server and come join the conversation, and that's where we're continuing to flesh out exactly the mission and the mission statement and so forth of the consortium, and the actual next things we are going to work on together. We're running very short on time. Somebody's going to get the last word. All five of us can't get the last word. So What am I going to say about that? What am I going to do? So, you know, the last person that I haven't heard from is Glen. So, Glen, I'm giving you a magic wand. You get one wish to do something to make RealFi easier in the Cardano space. What would that be?
I think it's this kind of, you know, concepts and ideas that will make it work, that make it simple to interface, easy to use, and that it's completely transparent.
Excellent. That's a good way to end it. Thank you, everybody, for attending.
Thank you.